And today we're going to talk about the top 3 ways to build wealth in 2024. What's going on, family? Welcome back to another episode of Financial Freedom Fast Lane. And you know the vibes. The quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it. And I'm your host, George Acheampong. All right. But before we get into it, I'm going to give you a little bit of news you can use. It's a lot has been happening in the markets and in the financial world this past week. So I want to touch on a couple of them just to keep you updated on what's happening. So first and foremost, man, a lot of your favorite restaurants are either closing down completely or closing a lot of their locations. So we're just going to read through some of them because some of these might be your favorite restaurants. I don't know, but there's a lot of movement happening in the restaurant space, and it's something to pay attention to. So we got Fuddruckers announcing a lot of closings. Old Country Buffet, Buffalo Wild Wings for my wing people, Applebee's, Denny's, Ruby Tuesdays, Joe's Crab Shack. So a lot of restaurants are announcing closings. And oh yeah, how could I forget? I mentioned Red Lobster. And so my belief for that is when you look at the business model of those restaurants are what we call like right in the middle, right? So you look at something like a McDonald's, they serve mass market. Their whole game is volume, right? They're not trying to wine and dine you. There's not, some McDonald's you can go in and sit down, but most people are going through the drive-thru and they're going on about their way, right? So much lower overhead, lower cost, high volume. And as long as they are doing enough volume, they can make the numbers make sense, right? Then you have restaurants like Ruth's Chris, where it's higher price, less volume, but they have higher margins because of the price point they're charging for their food and their dishes and their experience. Whereas restaurants like Applebee's, Fuddruckers, etc., they have similar overhead to like a Ruth's Chris, but they have none of the margins, right? Applebee's is, I think that platter, that 4 for $20 or whatever it is that I used to get back in college, I feel like they still charging the same thing, right? But you get to go in, sit down, have a nice time. And as a result, in these current market conditions with food costs rising and all the other variables and just the cost of everything continue to be higher, it is much harder to make those types of business models sustainable, right? So that's a business lesson, right? In how to make your business work. And when you have businesses that are in the middle, it's just very hard. Same thing with fashion and retail, because a lot of those are closing down as well. There's no competitive advantage of being the bargain option right now. Again, if you're offering speed and that's your commodity and you just happen to be cheaper, that's different. But having all the overhead of a five-star restaurant but none of the margins is a recipe for disaster. So we're seeing a ton of restaurants close down. Curious to see if you're experiencing that in real time in some of your areas where you live. I haven't seen a ton of restaurants closing in my area, but maybe I just haven't paid attention because I also don't eat at Applebee's and Olive Garden and those types of places anymore. So
growing up, some of my greatest memories were my family reunions, right? And I was like, man, my family has expanded now that I've created this online platform. And I was like, I wish there was a way I could celebrate with my rich relatives, right? Almost like a rich relative reunion. And that's exactly why we created Wealth Weekend. Wealth Weekend is a first of its kind conference where not only are you going to have full education to learn strategies that can help you get to the next level. Not only are you going to have entertainment so that it's a fun weekend and it's a vibe, but we're going to create an overall experience like you've never seen. I'm talking award shows. I'm talking sneaker ball after parties. I'm talking millionaire mixers with networking that is going to blow your socks off. So if this is something that you're interested in, make sure you click the link below, grab your seat because it's going to be a vibe. Can't wait to see you there. Now let's get back to the episode.
Let me know what you're seeing on your end. In good news, I guess a bright spot, NVIDIA is absolutely crushing it per usual. So NVIDIA, if my numbers tell me correctly, I think NVIDIA's revenues were up like their profits, were up 628%. Revenues up, I think 200+%, which is absolutely insane when compared to this same time period last year. And on top of that, they announced a 10-1 stock split, right? And so the stock is just going crazy. For those of y'all who don't understand what a stock split means, let's say right now that you own a share of NVIDIA and it's a entire pizza, right? It has not been cut, okay? That's your share of NVIDIA. A 10-to-1 stock split means now I'm going to cut that pizza into 10 different slices. So now you have more pieces, but you still have the same overall pie, right? That's essentially how a stock split works. So if you currently own 1 share of NVIDIA, after the stock split, you're going to own 10, but the overall value of your shares is going to be the same when you owned the 1, right? So it just, gives you more quantity and really makes the stock more accessible. NVIDIA is currently trading above $1,000, meaning not many people can just hop in and buy a single share of NVIDIA. Yes, we do have the advent of fractional shares and things of that nature, but people still want to be able to make the stock accessible. And this is one way to do that. And I believe that after, a quick, sell off or adjustment in the holding, I think by and large, this is going to be great for the stock. More people are going to get into it, and it's going to continue to see growth. Now, does the financials substantiate the meteoric growth that we're seeing in the stock? Maybe not. I'm a little bit neutral on it, but I feel like with some holdings, it's a lot like musical chairs in the sense that we know, like, okay, PE ratios and other things might be a little off relative to like, traditional fundamental analysis. But at the end of the day, sometimes fundamental analysis in and of itself isn't enough, right? At the end of the day, as long as you feel like you're getting in at a fair price, it might not be a bad move for you. Do your research. As always, this is for information purposes only, not to be taken as financial advice. Consult with your advisor or a professional alike and do your own research, okay? But something worth noting, NVIDIA is going absolutely crazy. It's going on a tear. All right. And I told you a couple episodes ago that I am on my spirit-free journey. This is one of the best red wines I've had. That's not a wine, or it's a de-alcoholized wine. How do you say that word? This is not sponsored, by the way. If you want to sponsor me, you can, but an amazing red wine. I think you pronounce it Ariel, something like that, but it's amazing. I give that a 9.2 out of 10 on the not mocktail, but on the non-alcoholic drink Richter scale. It is amazing. I'm going to keep trying them out for you guys because, again, I don't know how long I'm going to be on this journey. Even if I do drink alcohol again, I do believe that I will still incorporate these on a regular basis. Now, I fully understand the argument of people who are vegan. People, when they get attacked, and people are like, well, if you want to be vegan, why you want to eat stuff that tastes like chicken? It feels like chicken. Because they still like the flavor and the texture. They just didn't want to eat meat, either for health reasons or for morale. Is it morale? They don't want to see animals get hurt, right? So it's not that they didn't like the flavor of chicken. They didn't wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, chicken is gross, right? At least not for most vegans. It was for other reasons. And so same thing with this. I like the taste of wine when I, was drinking it. I like the taste of a good mixed drink, the flavor of it. I just didn't like the ramifications that came with it, or the opposite health benefits, if you will, right? So that's why I'm trying out these mocktails versus just drinking straight up pineapple juice or orange juice without the champagne, which would not be a mimosa. It would just be orange juice. All right, so let's get into today's topic at hand. The best ways to build wealth in 2024. All right, because I know we're about to be approaching that halfway point of the year. Maybe you hit your goals, maybe you didn't, but ultimately, so far, but ultimately, you still want to have a successful outcome for the year. So I want to give you 3 of the best ways to build wealth and improve your finances in 2024. The first way is to start and open a Roth IRA. Okay, open a Roth IRA. Now, the reason why I love Roth IRAs, I love traditional retirement vehicles as well. But the reason why I love Roth IRAs is because once that money goes into the account, right, ultimately, when it's time to use that money at retirement, you're going to be able to use that money tax-free, right? In a Roth IRA, the money that goes into the account has already been taxed. So now you get the benefit of tax-free growth and tax-free distributions at retirement, which is great because We don't know what tax rates are going to be in the future. You're going to be on a fixed income more than likely. And so to already know that you have a bucket of money that's not going to be taxed in the future, and you've already taken care of that burden, it's an amazing thing to do for your future self, right? It's an amazing thing to do for your future self by owning a Roth IRA. Now, of course, if you are a high income earning professional and you earn a certain amount of money that phases you out of the ability to contribute to a Roth IRA, always remember that there might be limits on contributions, restrictions on who can contribute based upon the income that you make, etc. But there are no restrictions on conversions, right? What does that mean? If I have money in an old 401k or traditional IRA, I can always convert that money over into a Roth IRA, take the tax implication today, and then not have to worry about it in the future. So for my high income earners, or for my people who already have traditional IRAs and things of that nature and are interested in a Roth IRA, have no fear, because your rich relative, George, is here to let you know that you can still contribute, right? So starting and contributing to a Roth IRA in 2024 can be one of the best things you can do to start building wealth. All right, the next thing you can do in 2024 to improve your wealth building is take a look at your debt, right? And you know me, I'm not the super advocate of like being aggressive and rushing to pay off every penny of debt. That's not me. That's not my MO, right? What I like to say is let's take a look at all the debt that you have, the interest that you're paying, and compare that interest rate to the rate of return that you can get on your investments on average, right? Like some people will say looking at like the risk-free return, but like let's look at the trend of your existing investments, the trend of the stock market, like wherever you're invested, and on average, what ROI are you yielding per year, and compare that to the debt, the interest rate on the current debt that you're servicing. Okay. If you can earn more than the interest rate or what that debt is costing you to carry, I'm going to encourage you to keep investing and continue to service the debt and not be aggressive about paying it off. If you cannot earn more, right, then if you cannot earn more than the cost of carrying that debt, you do need to prioritize getting rid of it, right? Because it's just math. We don't need to be emotional about it. We need to be objective. Are my investments earning at a rate higher than this interest rate on this debt? And if not, right, then I probably should prioritize getting this debt off my balance sheet. Okay. Doing that can be one of the most important things, one of the most important decisions you make in 2024. Now, granted, again, if you're already carrying debt, just do the math, right? Just do the math. See if it makes sense. For most people, it's just gonna like answer that question like, should I pay off debt? Should I invest? What should I do? Well, now you know the answer in almost any scenario. What is this debt costing me? What is the interest rate? Can I earn more with my investments? And if so, I probably should keep investing and just managing the debt accordingly, right? Of course, there's a lot of psychological factors wrapped up in this too. Some people get really emotional about debt. I just want you to be objective about it and make the right financial decision for you. All right, the third thing that you can do, this is my personal favorite, the third thing you can do to supercharge your wealth building in 2024 is borrow against the value of your existing assets to buy more assets. Now, again, this might be contrary to your belief. It's like, well, why would I borrow against my assets, right? Now have more debt or have debt to then go buy other investments. Again, that's why I prefaced it with the other just regular debt, because again, it's about being objective. Most people are on the wrong side of the equation. They're used to swiping their credit card or getting out loans to buy liabilities that depreciate over time. But if you get access to money to buy an asset that's going to appreciate over time, and the rate at which it's appreciating is substantially greater than the cost of the capital you borrowed, that is always, in most scenarios, a great decision. Not to mention, when you're borrowing against the value of your assets, what that means is you're not withdrawing from the asset. So if you have $10,000 invested and you borrow against the value of that 10,000, let's just say you borrow 50%, you now get a line of credit for 5,000. Your portfolio of 10,000 is still growing and thriving. And now you can use that 5,000 to invest in something else. And the best part about it is the IRS does not treat loans as income. Therefore, there is not a taxable event. Your investments still grow and thrive. You get access to liquid capital to go invest in something else. The money that you borrow is not taxed, and the IRS is going to let you deduct the loan interest on the money that you borrow. Mic drop, right? So when you understand the game and you're making strategic and intentional decisions, this can be a game changer for you. So if you're looking to build more wealth in 2024, my belief is that these are 3 of the top things you can do to do just that. Let me know in the comments some things that you are going to be doing this year to build wealth in 2024. And remember, guys, this is Financial Freedom Fastlane. The quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it. And always remember, freedom is for sale if you're willing to pay the price. Peace.